Hi, my name is Tiago Duarte and welcome to another video tutorial here at Beats. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I mix the track the hard trap beat that I did last week in Studio One. Let's go ahead and let me show you what I did here. So we have several elements. I will start with the verse actually, and then we can move to the chorus. And I'm going to show you pretty much what I did here. So let's start with the drums. For this one, I had a drum loop and also an extra drum kick that I didn't use. The extra drum kick, actually, I didn't enable it. It's still there because I'm using it as a sidechain for the 808, but I'm not using it in the terms of you can hear it. So for the drums, what I did was I applied this very subtle EQ. It's not something that I would usually do. I don't know if that's the correct way to put it, but it's a very different EQ that usually I apply cuts and boosts, and this one I just did cuts. And I did a low pass filter, or actually a high pass filter or a low cut, and at 43 Hertz because I thought that the kick had too much information in the low end and I couldn't hear it with my headphones, so I just cut it out. And then I applied some cuts to remove some of the boxiness and the wonkiness of the drums. So let's listen how this sounds with and without the processing. And you might hear this and say, yeah, but I prefer the one without it. And yeah, you might be right. And I kind of feel like the kick has a little bit more oomph, but at the same time, it also has some boominess. And I was like, okay, I have to make a decision here. Either I go and I make the kick still strong, but then I have to remove on the 808. So I thought, okay, let me maybe reduce a little bit of the boominess of the kick so that I can leave room for the 808 to shine. We can still hear the kick and it still sounds good, but I also wanted to remove or give a little bit more emphasis or leave the low frequencies to give some space to the 808. I think I mixed my brain a little bit, or my thought, but I wanted to give some room to the 808, so I removed some of the boominess of the kick, and then I didn't did anything else for the snares or the hi-hats because I thought they sounded really cool like that. So this is how the kicks or the drums sound. Now let's go back to the 808, and for the 808 I applied this curve here. As you can see, I also removed some of the low end, and this is only for at 35 Hertz. So I cannot hear those frequencies. I don't have a subwoofer here with me, so I'm not mixing them. So if I can't hear them, I'm not going to touch them, and I just prefer to remove them or try to apply a low cut, yeah, or a high pass, so that I don't have too much influence of those frequencies in my mix. Then I applied a bunch of cuts and also a low pass, so that I could just focus on the frequencies here of the bass. So let's hear now with and without processing the 808. It's a little bit more subtle, the differences here in the 808. I feel that the 808 is a little bit more, how can I say, harmonious with the drums. So it's not too boomy, it's not too, how can I say, it tucks a little bit better with the kick, and I think they have a better synergy. I think maybe that's a right way to put it. So now let's take all the processing. At this point, I was just taking the drums off, or the processing of the drums and the processing of the 808. Now let's take everything away and see the before and after. As you can see now, very big difference. It sounds way better. Of course, we still have some auxiliary reverb, which helps, especially in the snare, but you can see the difference of before and after, and that's what matters. Let's now go to the next element, which is the blurred strings. For this one, I wanted to remove the low end and bring up a little bit of the high frequencies of the strings, because I felt they were a little bit tucked under the sounds, under everything, and I wanted to bring up a little bit of the high frequencies to make them shine a little bit better. So now let's hear this one with and without processing. As you can see, it's very subtle, but it just makes the strings a little bit more evolving in the track and make them sound a little bit shinier. I guess that's the correct word. And yeah, I feel they sound really cool, and I really like the processing that I did on these strings. So the next part is actually the chorus. And for the chorus, there was two main effects, or two main instruments, the aux lead and the bells, and then there was the flutter, which was just a sound just to embellish not embellish, I don't know if that's the correct word, but to make the track a little bit, it's just an effect. So I didn't place too much effort on that one. And let's start with the aux lead, which is the main synth for the chorus. And what I did for this one, again, I just applied a high pass filter so that we don't have anything else messing up with the kick and the 808. I like the way they sit and I like the way they sound, so I don't want to mess that up. And I applied a high pass filter, here 3 cuts and a boost again in about this area where I found it was really cool, so I boosted there. So let's hear now the before and after. For this one, there's not a big difference again, but what the main difference here is that I wanted to bring up just a little bit of the high frequencies, because I felt they were lacking a little bit. That's why there's this 3K boost, or 3 dB boost at 4K. I felt that could bring a little bit of it could improve the track a little bit. But again, this is not a big difference in this one, because I also had the bells, which helped in the track, so I didn't have to do too much here for this synth to sound good. Let's now go back let's continue and let's see the bells. For the bells, again, I applied a high pass filter and a cut and a boost here around the same thing, this time at 5.19K. But this sounds really cool, and let's hear the before and after for the bells. Okay, for this one, for the bells, yeah, when it's hard, it's a little bit harder to realize. But what I wanted with this one is just for delay, the delay of the bells to sound a little bit more present. And the thing that I feel it's here, it's doing that. So it's taking the bells and making them a little bit more louder in the delays, where the delays, the volume of the delay starts to decay. And I wanted to make that a little bit louder so that we can hear it better. So the bells have a more what's the word that I'm looking for? They last a little bit longer and they sound a little bit more involving because you can hear better the delay. So that's what I was looking for. That's why this one doesn't have too much equalization here. I didn't want to change it too much. I just wanted to make it a little bit louder in terms of the delay, and for that I used compression. And the next element, which is the final one, is the stutter. And for the stutter again, or the flutter, sorry. For the flutter again, as you can see, I just applied a high pass filter so that there's nothing here messing up with the bass. And that was the main idea for this one. Again, like I said, this one was just a prettifier, let's say, if that's a word, to make the track a little bit more interesting. But it's something that it's not the main attraction of the chorus, so that's fine. I just wanted to throw a high pass filter just to make sure there's nothing else in the low end messing up my bass. So now let's hear the before and after of everything, so that we can see the difference of the processing that I did. And let's hear it. And as you can see, or as you can hear, it's a very big difference between before and after. And even though I like the beginning or the before, I really prefer the after because it's a little bit more polished. It sounds more professional. You can hear pretty much every single sound inside of the track, whilst with the before, some of the sounds get lost and there's no cohesiveness in all the instruments. And with the after, everything sounds together, sounds like one. And I think that's the main takeaway for this track. So that's it, guys. I think I will finish the video here. This was really fun to do. I think the track sounds really cool, and I will have the beat for free at dailybeats.pt. Again, if you are new here and if you are starting out your production journey, I will have a playlist here so that you can take the first step in FL Studio, and I will also have a playlist here where I will have all my FL Studio tutorials. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.